Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so this is a subject that is kind of near to my heart, not too much anymore, but I think it's important. I want to put it out there because if you haven't learned about this subject, it can cause a lot of problems. This is going to be a very brief introduction. So this is about what we call avoidance. It's something called an attachment style. So attachment style is essentially how do you attach to people. And avoidant runs away. So when they get close to you emotionally and they really like you and they start to open up and be intimate, they run. And it can hurt like hell. Because just when you're really starting to open up and get close to them, they leave. They won't warn you, nothing. It's like you just won't hear from them again. Because one of the problems with avoidance is they avoid any kind of problems, even perceived problems that for most people is like their dream, falling in love. In avoidant, they run. Falling in love terrifies them. Now here's the thing, here's what you have to understand. They do not want to talk about it. They avoid any kind of argument, confrontation. It's a very frustrating thing because you're like, well, let's talk about it. Like, because you're like, well, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. If they're an avoidant, you did nothing wrong. You probably did everything right, and that's why they opened up emotionally. See, here's the deal. In the beginning, they have no intentions of getting close to you. It's like a lot of avoidance. This is kind of funny. They will use sex as a way to avoid intimacy. Now here's the thing, they just want to have sex. I know I've been in this situation. They don't want to get lovey-dovey. They don't want to get emotional. They just want to fuck. They use sex as a way to avoid their emotions.
My cool guy glasses on. Pretty cool glasses.
So the problem is, okay, I'm going to start here. Now there's something I Googled, or AI'd, or whatever it's called. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to come back to this problem. That was me riding my fixie in San Francisco. That's kind of my hobby right now. I do try to get across the Golden Gate Bridge twice a week, man. It's a blast. All right, let me tell you a little tip, okay? Don't tell anyone. So basically from Sausalito across the Golden Gate, because Sausalito connects to the Golden Gate Bridge, across the Golden Gate Bridge, and then you take a left. You go down into the visitor center and then go down this quick street into the marina. And then you go all the way through the marina and down this pathway that goes through the marina and into Pier 39. From that point all the way back to Sausalito are tourists, tons and tons of tourists. And so I'm going to say probably 60% of the people that you're going to talk to and run into will not be native San Franciscans. So you're going to get a really good vibe because they're here on vacation, they're having fun, they're excited. The Golden Gate Bridge blows their mind and all the sights, the ocean, all that stuff. So people that are in really good moods. I meet a lot of adorable women there. I mean, just gorgeous. Okay, let me get back to it. All right. So if you guys come out and do a training, we will go to the Golden Gate Bridge into the marina. It's one of my favorite places right now. Has been for over a year. So here's what it says, AI overview. So what I Googled was, do avoidance chase in the beginning? The answer is this. In the very beginning, avoidance can seem like they're chasing. Okay, let's continue on. Okay. So, seem like they're chasing, appearing charming, strong, and very into you. A honeymoon phase to create a strong connection. But this is often a seductive maneuver masking their discomfort with true intimacy. Soon after, they typically pull back, creating a push-pull dynamic, and generally won't chase you when you need them to, as they fear vulnerability and closeness. Now here's the thing, in the beginning of dating an avoidant, it is wonderful. They make you feel so good. They make you feel wanted. They pay attention to you. They're gentle. They're kind. They're considerate. I think that's what it is. They're really aware. Like this one avoidant I had in my bag, and I was looking for. She grabbed it and she put it underneath this. We were at a coffee shop on this little hook that was underneath the counter. And I was like, wow. Like that was like, I don't know. It was just like she was thinking of it before I even thought to look. she was already sitting down, and then she pulled the chair out for me, and I thought, okay, this is really cool. And I have to tell you, it was those things that got me hooked. I was like, man, I think this is the one. Okay, so let me go back and just reread that paragraph. So in the very beginning, avoidants can't seem like they're chasing, appearing charming, strong, and very into you. A honeymoon phase to create a strong connection. But this is often a seductive maneuver, masking their discomfort with true intimacy. Soon after, they typically pull back, creating a push-pull dynamic, and generally won't chase you when you need them to, as they fear vulnerability and closeness. So here's essentially they're doing it. They're trying to make a connection so you're connected to them before they get connected to you. So therefore, it's like it's not like they're in control, but it's like you're connected to them. It makes them feel safe because now you're there for them, but they're not emotionally connected to you, and that makes them feel safe being with you. It's kind of a weird dynamic, huh? Okay, now I want to give you a big warning. If you start watching YouTube videos or even reading blogs or articles or reading books, 99.999% of everyone that's making videos on YouTube about avoidance, they are avoidants. What they're trying to do is train you and condition you. This is how you treat an avoidant. This is the way you deal with avoidant. This is what you need to do. You need to change. Not the avoidant, not the fucked up one, but you. Now God bless avoidants because they are sweet, kind, caring people. But son of a bitch, it can fucking hurt. I am telling you guys, it'll rip your fucking soul out. It's not because they're doing it on purpose. It's because they're trying to protect themselves. But there's fallout, and you tend to be the one that gets hit by the shrapnel as they're pulling out. Now, this is a real problem in the world right now. Avoidants are affecting a lot of people. It's kind of like the new big thing. It's because of computers. Some people say it's because of inoculations, vaccines from childhood. But whatever, there's a lot of people coming out, and they're avoidants. Listen closely, they don't deal with problems. They run the frick away. They shut down. They do a lot of caffeine. They do drugs. They do a lot of sex. They do anything and everything to avoid, distract. They do a lot. Did I say video games? They do a lot of video games too. Anything to mentally distract from their pain. Now, they're completely opposite of a narcissist, where a narcissist is trying to hurt you because they're hurt. An avoidant is trying to run away because they don't want to open up emotionally. They try to keep that door closed. The interesting thing, though, is if they can get you to connect to them and they don't open up to you, they'll be with you. If you don't force them to open up emotionally, they're going to feel comfortable being with you. That's kind of the trick. Now, I do not recommend you be in a relationship with avoidant. Very few people can deal with it. Now, there's two things I didn't hear from anybody online anywhere after watching all these YouTube videos and studying it for about 5 months, maybe 6, actually more than that, about 6 months. I did the 2 worst possible things you can do and didn't even know it until months and months later, and I just happened to Google it. Something was just bugging me, and I Googled, and here's one at a time. One of them was, what happens if you ask an avoidant to marry you? It says they will run. They will leave you immediately. They don't like commitment. Now here's the funny thing. After about dating her for about 3 months, I said, you know what? When it gets summertime, now this would have been about 6 more months into the future. No, actually more than that. Much more than 6 because we were in the fall. I said, we should go to Santa Cruz someday. And she kind of stiffened up like, oh shit. And I'm thinking, not now. You'll get to know me better. Because I'd already known her for probably 3-4 months, maybe 5 months. Because I used to go to work a lot. So I actually knew her more than that. But we started dating for about 3 months. And I was like, okay, man, don't worry about it. Like, whoa, shit. Like, she definitely stiffened up. And I was like, and it scared her. I thought, man, she does not like to be alone with someone. Or kind of go away. Because, see, in the city where she lives, if something goes wrong, she can just leave and go home. But if she's in Santa Cruz in someone else's car, she's kind of stuck with them. And that's what avoidants are terrified of, being stuck with someone. Because what if they get scared, they need to run, and they're stuck with you? So another mistake I made, I said, you know what? In the future, I'm going to buy that condo up there, and we could live together, and blah, 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 blah. And she stiffened up again. I go, okay, well, then I'll get the little one next door, and you could live there separately from me. She kind of breathe a little bit, but you could tell. I go, is that still too close? And she just kind of looked at me. I was like, oh my God. Now, I didn't know what avoidant was at the time. I just picked up on the cues really, really well. Like, okay, well, maybe you could just get your own place about 6 blocks away. And she kind of like sighed like, okay. So God bless them, because they're cute and loving in their own way, but it's a really weird dynamic, and it can hurt because, man, you fall in love with them, and there's something that no one's answered, like why do we fall in love with them so deeply? It's the weirdest thing. It's because they're really sweet inside. Okay, so now here's another thing. So this is actually the second big one. I googled this later. Here's what I did when I was saying goodbye. In fact, this was the last time they saw me. I asked them married. No, I didn't actually ask her to marry. I just said, man, I'm so going to marry you. And I was being playful and fun, because this is way too early to talk about marriage. But I was being cute, and I was being sarcastic, but the thought did cross my mind. And I was just throwing it out there. I go, man, I'm so going to marry you. And I didn't notice what happened in the moment, but when I was walking her down for her to go home, I had said, oh, by the way, did you know that you're an avoidant? Big mistake. I googled that, like what happens when you tell an avoidant you know they're avoidant. It says once they know that you know, they run, they're out. Like that is like probably worse than asking them to marry you. It's like they're like, we're gone, and you know what? I have never heard from her since. Now here's the deal. She said to me early on, you know, a lot of people get really mad at me. I'm like, why? Because this was and by the way, this image looks just like her. And I go, why? And she goes, a lot of people get mad at me. I go, why? And she goes, I don't know. She goes, people get mad at me, and they yell at me, and so they're very sensitive and very terrified people. You gotta understand, they were abused really bad growing up, so they're already timid people. And the problem is, a lot of men will take their anger out on them because you get hurt. What it really is, though, is you were hurt by other people who purposely hurt you, who purposely played games, gaslit you, hot and cold, the push and pull method. Now, they do this. They create this push and pull dynamic, but it's not because they're trying to hurt you. It's because they're trying. It's like they're freaking out inside. On the one hand, okay, here's the other really diabolically sad thing about avoidance. They want to be loved so bad. They want to be close to someone. Because their whole life they weren't allowed. They were punished for doing that. And yet the moment they start to open up, it terrifies them. And they run. And now you're left holding the bag, and it freaking hurts because they give you no answers. Here's the thing, because they don't want to talk, because an avoidant avoids dealing with situations, and this is a hell of a situation that terrifies them. Like, I'm not talking, I'm out of here. Bye. So the problem is, a lot of guys have been hurt by other women who play games. They think it's funny, and in some of them it's a power trip, and there's all kinds of things going on, and they're purposely doing the gaslighting and the push and pull and all kinds of shit. And then you've dealt with narcissists. So what happens is, you're like, oh, F her, she's one of them. They're not one of them. And what ends up is, those are the ones that the guys unload all their lifelong pain and suffering from women who've played mind games with them onto these people. And these are extremely sensitive people. And they are in the opposite spectrum of a narcissist. They're not mean. They're not trying to hurt people. They're trying to run away from it. They're scared. So let's go back to the warning I was saying about watching videos. All of these people are avoidants, and they're trying to condition people into treating them the way they need. And here's some of the things they'll tell you. Well, you gotta understand, a lot of avoidants sleep around. It's not a big deal because they need to do this to distract themselves, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait, what? So it's okay for them to, but God forbid that you do it. You're not allowed to. Now here's the number one message that you'll hear from avoidance about avoidance. Avoidance will avoid you if they fall in love with you. Avoidance will run from you and avoid you if they get close to you. Avoidance will avoid you if there's any kind of confrontation. Avoidance will avoid. I go, and now here's the funny part. Now watch this. This is gonna blow your mind. Now I'm gonna flip it. Every answer for every situation, and I kid you not. When avoidant does this, avoid them. When avoidant does that, avoid that. When avoidant does this, avoid this. The way you deal with an avoidant who's avoiding you is to avoid the avoidant. I kid you not, I am not joking, hands down across the board, this is the answer that every single one of these so-called therapists are telling us to do. And all of them are avoidance, by the way. It is such and I started chiming in like, hey, is anyone like catching on what's going on here? They're literally telling the healthy people to deal with this toxic, unhealthy behavior, and here's how you're supposed to deal with it to make their life better and easier. They're going to sleep around, but you got to wait at home for them. They're going to go out with their friends, but you got to wait at home, because if you don't do that, it's going to hurt their feelings. They're like, wait, whoa, slow down the racehorsey, baby. Now, I started chiming in. A lot of people say, yeah, that is pretty fucked up. You're telling us, the healthy people, that we're supposed to, like, do all these new things and adjust to them. No, they need to get their shit together. They need to get to therapy. Now, here's the other thing that's really bizarre. You will not find a video. You will not find a single video where they tell the avoidance tips that they need to do to get their shit together. Here's how you heal your abandonment wound. Here's how you heal your child abuse wounds. You need to go to therapy. You need to find this kind of therapy. They don't say jack shit about what an avoidant needs to do. It is the most bizarre, ass backwards, whatever on the planet. It is just like, wait, what? And they're all saying this. All of them. You, the healthy person, need to get your shit together. You need to change for the avoidant. The avoidant, they're just going to do their thing. Here's the thing. If you get hooked on avoidant, you can't get unhooked. It's like an addiction, and I am not fucking kidding. It is the most bizarre thing in the world. Okay, I'm just going to read the final bullet points just straight off. So from this, so I Googled do avoidance chase in the beginning. So I read that paragraph. Now it says why they might seem to chase early on. Idealization. They might come on strong, creating an illusion of intimacy to draw you in and feel secure initially. Seductive maneuvers. They can appear devoted, caring, and stimulating to build a connection, according to Love Addiction Help. Flirting without pressure. They might initiate contact and flirt if it feels light and fun, but will retreat from serious emotional discussions. Now that's something I discussed a little while ago, like, hey, like everything's for fun and flirty and sex, and everything's supposed to be a distraction, not an emotional connection. They don't want to go there. Okay, next up, why they stop and don't chase. Fear of vulnerability. As things get real, they pull back to maintain emotional distance. Seeing closeness as a threat, explains Medium. Need for space. They value independence and need space to feel safe, notes Quora. These are the quotation where they find these quotes from. The next one, belief in perfect effortlessness. Now listen closely. Belief in perfect effortlessness. They often believe the right partner should make things easy. If it feels hard, they withdraw, says the Personal Development School on Facebook. Emotional shutdown. Any conflict or strong emotion triggers their defense mechanism to shut down and create distance, according to Harness. So let me read it again. Emotional shutdown. Any conflict or strong emotion triggers their defense mechanism to shut down and create distance. It could be a positive emotional trigger. Okay? Could be negative. Could be arguing. They don't like to argue and they won't do it. So it says the takeaway, an avoidance initial chase is often a test or a way to establish initial connection, not a sign they'll pursue through difficulties. Real emotional engagement requires them to overcome deep-seated fears. Now here's the worst part. Nothing has to happen for them to freak out. They could misunderstand something, or they could... It's like nothing, but this is the really weird... It's a hard thing to understand. You don't have to say anything or do anything bad at all, but in their mind, if they think something's getting too close, or they're opening up emotionally, or they misunderstand, boom, they are gone. That's it, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're not going to let you talk to them. They're not going to want to talk about it. And they're probably literally going to, at one point, may end up blocking you. They won't talk to you. And if you force them to talk, they're just going to change the subject. They're going to be, I don't want to talk about it. And they're going to leave. If you find you are dating an avoidant, I highly recommend that you get out, because there's nothing you can do, and it's going to damage you, and they're just going to move on eventually anyways, and that's what they do. They just move on. Alright, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. If you learn about avoidance, do not let them on the YouTube channels, do not let them convince that you're the one who needs to change. Like, maybe you have some development stuff, fine, but avoidance need to seek therapy. That is something that, and here's the good thing, avoidance can heal from this. That's the good news. Alright guys, click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.